Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We are going to get started just around 10 o'clock, maybe shortly thereafter, to ensure everybody gets logged on into the event this morning. We're excited to have you, so please just hang tight with us, and we'll be getting started very shortly. Thanks again. Good morning, everyone. We will be getting started in just a minute. We see just another bit of people queuing into the event here just after 10 o'clock. So we will go ahead and get started in just a minute. Thanks for your patience. I do see a couple of people helping us in there with sound checks. So Glad that you can hear us, and we'll be popping up on video when we're talking to you once we formally get started. And you should also see a slide on your screen, Center for Student Success. Hopefully you see that as well. And we'll be excited to talk to you very shortly. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Shane Ciccarelli. I'm the Associate Dean of Admission at the University of Hartford, talking to you from my home in what are certainly some unprecedented times. We first and foremost want to welcome you to this event. I've said before in prior events, and I'll say again, ideally, we would very much want to be welcoming you to our campus so that you can join us, see us face to face, in person, interact with our current students, our faculty, our staff, and of course, enjoy our beautiful campus, especially in the springtime here as things are coming into bloom. So hopefully we'll be able to get you there sooner than later, all staying optimistic. I certainly hope you, your families are all staying healthy and well. These are absolutely challenging times, and we are all doing the very best we can to just take it one day at a time. We're happy to be able to get you information about the University of Hartford through this format, and we are continuing as a university to evaluate all kinds of different ways to be able to let you experience the campus, let you hear from our faculty, our current students, our amazing staff, so that you can have all the information you need as you continue to make such an important decision about where you will be enrolling in college this fall. So today is another piece of that, and we can talk later about other exciting opportunities that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, all of which you should have received emails for. So again, really excited about those opportunities. Nothing will ever replace getting you to our actual campus, and for that we apologize. Certainly if the circumstances could be different and if we could control them, we absolutely would. So in that sense, we miss seeing all of you on campus, and hope to see you soon. Today, we're really excited to bring you information about the Center for Student Success, something that we believe makes the University of Hartford unique, different, and very, very special, something that really transforms a student's experience at the University of Hartford. And I'm joined by several of the tremendous staff from the Center for Student Success, Mike Ormsby, Julie Spring, Christine Riley, Michael Gomans, and they are all going to be taking part in a presentation and introducing themselves to talk to you about the Center for Student Success, go through some of these slides and information with you, and then we will, of course, have plenty of time to open it up for questions. A couple of housekeeping things. Please make sure that when you want to ask a question, you use the Q&A feature. That would be helpful to us so that we can see the questions coming through. There also is a chat feature. That is really just something to use if you're experiencing any technical difficulties, if there are anything that is not a question that you would like answered in the format that you need shared with the panelists, would be appropriate to use in the chat feature. Otherwise, for Q&A, please just use that Q&A feature on the side there, and we will be sure to address as many of them as we can today. You can start typing your questions throughout the event, and we will collect them and answer them as best we can as we get going here. So with that, I'm going to turn myself off and introduce Michael Ormsby from the Center for Student Success, and he's going to kick off the presentation today. Mike, it's all you.
Thanks, Shane. Good morning, everybody. As Shane said, my name is Mike Ormsby. I get to be the director of our Center for Student Success. Real quick, I wanted to mention I have a 2.5-year-old at home, and sometimes we can't always control his level of excitement. So wanted to let you know if you hear any singing or shouting, that's probably him. Nothing really going wrong over here. I've been with the office for coming close to 5 years now, and we've made a lot of changes over the past year to year and a half. But so we just celebrated our new structure 1-year anniversary on April 1st, and I know our staff was really excited about that. As Shane had mentioned, we really wish that we could be standing. We have a brand new space on campus, and I wish we could be standing in it, welcome all of you to that space and to the university. So I know we all share your disappointment in not being able to do that. So hopefully we'll be able to communicate to you a lot of the great things that we're able to do through our office virtually. I know I live in Vernon, Connecticut, and it's a little rainy and overcast here today. And so on days like today, I'm reminded of how beautiful the University of Hartford's campus is and how awesome it is to be there. And so we look forward to seeing you there physically on the campus as soon as absolutely possible. So I'm gonna turn off my video for now to save space on the line, and we'll carry on with what we're going to be covering with you today. So we're going to, like I said, give you an overview of our office and the services we provide. And one of I think the really fantastic things about the Center for Student Success is, and I want to give credit to our leadership, our president, Gregory Woodward, who, about 2 years ago, had a conversation with me about what we can do to serve our students better and provide them with all things that especially our first-year students need. And so we talked about, how to make services better for students and what we can do to be kind of the lead amongst centers for student success on college campuses. And what we have today now for our structure and how we operate and how we serve students is really, I think, on the cutting edge in terms of what we offer college students. We're going to talk a little bit about the first-year seminar experience, and that, again, is uniquely a part of what we do out of our office, and being able to build and maintain those connections between first-year students and our staff, our professional advisors. We're going to talk also a little bit about academic registration, because I know I'm sure there's a lot of burning questions about classes and how those are developed and how students get their first semester classes. So we'll talk a little bit about how we do that. I get to share a little bit about our division of student success as a whole. Again, I think, going back to the leadership of our president, we've had a lot of changes within the past couple of years, and all to focus on what's helpful about serving our students. And it all comes back to what the students need in order to be successful. And so some of the restructuring that we've done in that area really reflects a care for our students and getting them what they need in order to make sure that they're successful at the University of Hartford and they move on and graduate with the skills that they need. And then we'll talk a little bit about the housing and dining experience, some pieces of information that I'm sure all of you are interested in as well for the next step. So I get to also introduce our staff. And like I said, one of the things that I keep coming back to, and the way that I talk about it both on campus and with audiences like yourselves, is that we have the all-star team of people on campus. About a year ago, we were able to pull from a lot of different colleges across campus and put together a really wonderful group of people who I am absolutely honored to work with. And they have both a lot of institutional knowledge because they have a lot of experience within their colleges, but also are just people who care phenomenally about our students and want to make sure that they have the best experience possible and that they have all the information that they need in order to make the best decisions. So they're really a fantastic group. They include my fellow director, Katie Kitchens, who's the Director of Student Services and Advising, Julie Spring, who's joining us on the call today, who's our Associate Director, and also is the primary contact for transfer students. We have Christine Riley, who's also joining us, who advises a population of first-year students and is also directing our orientation program. And we also have Michael Gomans, who's an assistant director in the Center for Student Success, also manages our online early alert program that we call Compass. And then we also have, amongst our first-year advisors, Meg Abernathy, who works with our Hart School students, Travis Karras, who along with Julie Spring works with our CETA students, Arlene Maddox, who advises our Barney School student population, Sean O'Donovan, who advises our arts and sciences students, primarily in humanities. Gareth Searing is an advisor in our Hillier College. Jen Siegel also works with our arts and sciences population. Dory DeVilliers is our advisor also within Hillier College. Holly Patterson works with our education, nursing, and health profession students, along with Michael Gomans. And Alan Karlstrom is our advisor for the art school. And so, like I said, just about all of them have significant experience within their colleges. The other thing that's really kind of nice to point out is a number of them, including individuals on our call today, are alum of the university. And so the institutional knowledge that we have, I think, is very, very strong. And I see that every single day in their interactions with students and how that benefits the questions that students ask and their ability to know both how to answer those questions, but also, if they might not know the answers, who to talk to and who to talk to quickly in order to get the best information to our students. So you've probably heard enough from me. So I want to kick it over to Julie Spring and allow her to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about that. Took me a second. Thank you so much for joining us today. As Mike said, I am the Associate Director for the Center for Student Success, and we could not be more excited to have you joining us today and taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about the University of Hartford and the Center. Just a little bit about myself, as Mike said, I've been with the university for almost 17 years, which is hard to believe. I was actually fortunate enough to begin my path at Hartford in the admission office, so I have worked with those folks very well, hand in hand, for a long time, and I'm very lucky to do so. And then I moved on to the College of Engineering, Technology, and Architecture, which is CETA College that Mike referred to, for a few years, and then found myself lucky enough to be part of this Center for Student Success team, and I couldn't be more pleased, and I super look forward to meeting all of you and getting to work with you hand in hand very soon. Thanks.
So next we'll have Chrissy Riley introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Like Mike said, my name is Chrissy Riley, and I've actually been with the university so roughly for about 7 years. I, like Julie said, started my career here at the University of Hartford in the admission office. I was there for quite some time, for roughly about 5 years, and then I joined the Career Services Center for about a year, and then I recently, this past year, joined the Center for Student Success. So I am a proud alumni here at the University of Hartford. So I'm really excited to speak with you guys today and get some of your questions answered, and I look forward to chatting with you. So welcome, and good to see you.
Thanks, Chrissy. Thanks, Julie. And next, we're going to have Michael Gomans introduce himself and take us into the next piece of information about registration and our first year success seminar.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Gomans. I'm one of the assistant directors in the Center for Student Success. Like Julie and Chrissy, I am an alum from the University of Hartford as well. I did my undergrad and graduate degrees in the College of Education, Nursing, and Health Professions. And that's the population I work with primarily for first-year students. So those of you that are joining us today from that college, extra welcome to you guys. I've been at the university now for almost 7 years. I, too, started in the admissions office. and then I became a director in the College of Education, Nursing, Health Professions for their student success. And then just last year when this office formed, I moved over to the Center for Student Success. So I'm excited you're all here today. In a moment, Mike's going to move on to the next slide, and I'm going to start talking to you all about our first year advising program, and specifically our US 190 course that all first year students take. So the first year advising program is unique to the University of Hartford. We moved to an all professional staff advising model for first year students this past fall. With that, all the students, regardless of major or college, are assigned to an advisor from our office. And you see us once a week at the very least in a course called US 190, First Year Success Seminar. It's a once a week class that runs about 50 minutes, and it was purposely designed for first year students so that we can help you transition from high school to college. We talk about resources that a student would need to help navigate campus. We spend a lot of time in the class talking about executive functioning skills, things like note-taking, memory, resiliency, planning, organization, but then we also broaden the class topics to topics like campus resources, certain offices and services that are available on campus. We talk about topics like stress management, career and professional development, where might you be going after you finish your college career, how to build respectful relationships. This is the first time a lot of you are going to be away from home and living with a roommate. And we teach you kind of how to navigate that and some tips and strategies. We talk about things like resiliency, how to get involved on campus, and honestly, anything else you might need in the first year. So we're guaranteed to see you at least once a week, although many of us will see you more than that. I know myself, I had a lot of my students would stop by the office just between classes or lunch, just to check in and say hi. We're a pretty active bunch, so our office is right in the center of campus, but we all do get out and about amongst teaching classes. A lot of us are involved in organizations, student organizations on campus, and leadership roles as supervisors, so it's another unique way for us to connect with you and see you on campus. I know I'm very proud. A lot of my students this year were selected as Red Caps, so orientation leaders for next year, and even resident assistants. So a lot of us are doing a tremendous job building first year student relationships. I'm hearing from a lot of my students now, if you're curious. We're obviously all home, but I'm constantly getting text messages and emails and phone calls and Zoom calls from our students who are just looking to check in, see how they're doing with online learning. So it was certainly a tremendous success our first year. And I know I'll speak for everyone. We're really looking forward to next year, adding some new topics to those classes, and of course, getting to meet all of you when you arrive this fall.
Thanks, Michael. One of the things that I also just wanted to mention about our First Year Success Seminar is we put a lot of thought into the information that we provide in that class. And one of the things that I think is also really a wonderful pairing with our office is that we think about when students are going to need certain information. And our staff does a great job of, I think of, class registration, for example, and timing that at an appropriate time in the semester to make sure that students get the information that they need and the guidance that they need, so that when our registration time comes around, students are prepared and they have the information that they need. We'll go on to the next slide. And Julie, I think this is you.
Yes, indeed. I'm ready to jump right in. Hi again, everyone. Julie Spring. Yes, so as Michael said, he just spoke about one of the classes that everyone would get to take with us at the university right off the bat, so starting with us in the fall. And to get prepared for the rest of those classes that you would need for the fall, regardless of your school or college at the University of Hartford, the Center for Student Success will reach out to you regarding a pre-registration survey. So that is information that once a student has deposited with us, and we truly hope that each of you will, we are looking forward to that. Once you have made that deposit and we have you in the queue, you will immediately begin communication with those of us at the Center for Student Success. So we work very closely with the admission office to make sure there's a great and smooth transition from your admission and recruitment phase right into the depositing phase with us and joining us at the university. So you can reach out to us at any point in time regarding questions, concerns, or even if you just want to say hello and connect. Then what will happen is as we move through that process post-deposit, we will again send you out that registration survey, the pre-registration survey. So that'll be sent to you all in the beginning of May. And what we'll do is we'll ask you a variety of questions. So we're going to ask you things such as, when do you like to study? How do you like your study environment? Are honors courses a priority to you or something you're considering down the road? Just as a little note on that, our honors programs are amazing programs that we have at the university. So if you are eligible for that, we strongly encourage you to consider those courses and think about those options and be in touch with us so we can guide you through that process. Some other questions we'll ask you are things such as, are you an athlete that's going to be joining us at the university this fall? Another one that is very important, we will ask you if you have any early college credit or if you have any AP credit, anything that you've done in high school in conjunction to earn college credit. That's one of the most important questions because what that's going to do is help guide us as we're preparing your schedule for the fall. So we ask that you, all the questions are important, of course, but we ask that you really review this survey and make sure you're giving us as much information as possible about you, because then what we're going to do, the next step is we will gather all of that survey information, and each of us will sit down with our list of advisees, and we will actually all work together as a center team, and we will lay out your course schedule for the fall. So what we do is we take your curriculum and all the required courses that you need for coming in, and we will look at all the information that you have provided us, and we will set up a schedule that we think is going to best suit your needs. One little caveat I want to mention, there are some schools and colleges at the university where there's a lot of input for a first-year student regarding their first schedule, and there are some where there's not as much input in terms of curriculum being a little set as to how a student goes through the 4 years. However, if you are in one of those colleges where it's a little bit more structured, you still will have input in terms of the time of day, the honors, things like that. So there's definitely still some options, and it's a conversation that we look forward to continuing with you from that survey and on. And then once we go through that entire process and we get you all registered for those classes, then we will send out those schedules to you. You will have them sometime in June, and you will get them sent to you digitally so you can have that as a reference. You can share it with whomever you like to share these things with and make sure that everything looks good. And then if for some reason you feel like there's something that needs to be changed, then we have all summer to review the openings, the closings, things that you might need, anything that you may have forgotten to let us know. We can go through all of that as well. So that's a process that we're really excited to be digging into. I know that a few of us have mentioned with these crazy times that we're dealing with right now, it's so difficult. We are definitely, as Michael said, a group of people who love to be hands-on, one-on-one, and in front of our students. Just because we're in this environment does not mean that we can still not do those things for you. We are here for all of you. We will do it online. We will meet with you virtually. We will do whatever we need to do. So I want you to remember that as we're moving through this presentation and this process. And then just a couple other things to note, as you'll see on this slide, we are very fortunate to have that student to faculty ratio of the 9-to-1. So again, as we've mentioned here throughout, we want to be sure that you are the focus of what's happening at the University of Hartford. And then you'll see that our class sizes as well are able to make that happen. So you will not be in a room of 100 other people. You will be able to ask questions. You will know your faculty. You will know other students in the section with you. And again, you will have that constant contact to the Center for Student Success with your first-year advisor. So thank you. And at this point, I'm going to pass it back over to Mike Ormsby, who will tell you a little bit more about our division.
Thanks, Julie. Yeah, I also get to share some information about our Division of Student Success, which, like our Center for Student Success, has had a lot of change and movement over the past couple of years. And again, with the entire goal of being able to serve our students better, to be able to be on, like I said before, the cutting edge of what our students are going to need in order to get them what they need by the time that they graduate. So we already talked a fair amount about our Center for Student Success. And so our Office for the Career and Professional Development, we brought in a new director a couple of years ago. Brooke Penders, who is doing some really fantastic things in bringing employers onto campus. She tries to do that almost on a weekly basis to make sure that students have the opportunity to make those connections. Because as we all know, networking is a premier and significant part of making sure that you land that first job. So her and her staff are working really, really well and doing some really cool and innovative things out of their office to make that connection between students and employers. Our tutoring center, we restructured our tutoring center within the past year so that previously we had tutoring areas around campus for different subjects. And so that led to students not being sure where to go in terms of where they need to get tutoring services. Now, the fantastic part is there is one place. It's housed in the library where most students spend their time studying and are going to need help on their classes. And so it made logical sense to put that there. And so we're able to be able to direct all students to one place. They know where to go in order to get that help. And they have a really tremendous staff. We used to work with them out of the Center for Student Success, and we very much make that connection, and we stay in close contact with them. We're able to make those referrals and get students signed up for tutoring out of our office. But the staff of tutors that they work with are really quite phenomenal. Our Office of Health, Safety, and Well-Being, which actually kind of permeates throughout the division in terms of our staff being knowledgeable about how to help students, whether it's health or safety related or general well-being. Our entire staff goes through significant training on both working with students and being able to recognize signs of when students might need some help, working in collaboration with public safety and with our residential life staff to make sure that students aren't just taken care of in the classroom, but we know, especially with our residential students, but with our commuters as well. There's a lot that happens in a college student's life outside of the classroom. And so we take great pride and have a significant amount of care in paying attention to all aspects of a student's experience at the university. Our residential life staff is absolutely phenomenal. And they've also gone through a fair number of changes and introduced a lot of new and regenerated spaces within our housing areas on campus, and all again with a focus of being able to make sure that students can interact with each other, that they can spend time with each other and build relationships and strong connections. They're doing really fantastic work there. The Student Engagement and Inclusion Office, that's also a somewhat of a restructuring over the past couple of years. Again, with the idea in mind that we want to make sure if students want to get involved in a club or activity, they want to be involved in things outside of their classes, that's the place that they can go. And so we restructured that a little bit to also include student government organizations with a lot of other student services offerings, so that if students, like I said, want to get involved, that's a place that they can go. And that happens to be right next door. If we were physically there today, we could point to it. And so our office being in the same very similar locations to student engagement and inclusion, that's something else that we push very strongly for and make sure that our students not only are getting a really quality academic experience, but they're able to exercise what their interests and get involved in things. And in addition to that, in align with career and professional development, start to build those skills that they're going to need in order to be leaders when they both on campus and when they leave campus. Within the division, we also have our commuter services office, and we have a really fantastic commuter lounge also in our student union, which is, like was said earlier, the hub of our campus. And so we also have a staff member who's assigned to paying attention to commuter student needs and making sure that they're communicated with, that we have events specifically for commuter students and are paying attention to their needs. Within the division, we also have an international center that includes study abroad and serves our international student population. And I know myself and Chrissy and a number of our other folks within the division have been working with the International Center to make sure that those international students are integrated into our campus life and are able to, allow our current undergraduates to learn from those international students and vice versa. And then lastly, in our division, last but not least, the student conduct and conflict resolution. And I want to highlight the conflict resolution piece because that office and what they're focused on isn't just enforcing policy and making sure students are following rules, but also that students learn how to talk to each other. If there's disagreements, if there's things that are going wrong amongst students, their focus is also to make sure that our students have the tools to be able to talk to one another, to recognize what's going wrong in a relationship, and to be able to come to some solutions and resolve that. So I think that's another really nice point within our division. So that covers, I think, at least a broad overview of our Division of Student Success. And again, I think, from what I've seen over the past couple of years with all of these changes, with all of these fantastic changes that we've seen on campus, again, it's all aligning to the fact that we want our students to have the best experience, to be able to quickly receive the help and information that they need. And that's exactly what our division has been designed to do. And it's been really exciting to see all of those changes and the benefits that students get out of those experiences. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit about your new home away from home and some of the residential life information. And I'm going to turn that over to Chrissy Riley.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. So here at UHeart, we do consider ourselves a family. So just like Mike said, we consider your residential hall your home away from home. So we want this to be as comfortable and comforting for yourself. So when you do get back from, a day in an academic class, you have somewhere that you feel comfortable and you can begin your studies and prepare. So as you are thinking of how to prepare your residential space, there's some things that are included in every dorm room. So obviously you'll have a desk. You'll have a bed with, it actually fits twin extra long bed sheets. So that's just important. So when you're looking for a comforter or a sheet set that matches, make sure it is extra long. So you can find those at most stores. Just make sure you're looking at the appropriate size. There'll be a chair, you'll have a closet, and you will have a dresser. So that comes in every residential space. You do have some choices as a first-year student of where you would like to live. So we have Hawk Hall, and we also have our first-year complexes. So you do have some options and some choices. So Hawk Hall is designed that has different learning communities, and it's designed to get students who have similar interests and passions living together in a really close connection. And so that way they can connect with one another and share those passions and interests. And then the complexes are for students who, again, just want to connect with other first-year students. And also you can find other students who have similar passions and interests. So there really is no preference. It's really up to you as a personal preference which one you do choose. It is important to note that Hawk Hall does have a deadline of early May. So information will be sent out. So if you are interested in applying to be into Hawk Hall, because you do have to apply, just make sure that you are paying attention to that early May deadline. The complexes, they don't have a deadline, but assignments do begin as early as May. So once you get your tuition deposit in and you fill out your housing information, assignments can begin as early as May. And you can either select a roommate or go through our roommate process, but we'll select one for you. So applying for housing and dining, it's actually available 10 days after you tuition deposit through our hartford.edu self-serve. So login information is your student ID, and you do get a temporary PIN that is sent via your UHeart email. So it is important to make sure that once you do tuition deposit that you are checking your UHeart email as well as any email that you've used to apply to the school. But more information will be forthcoming once you do decide to tuition deposit. And if any questions come up along the way, because sometimes it can be a little confusing, certainly feel free, to reach out to either admission ourselves or Res Life, and we can get all those questions answered for you because we are here to help and make that a seamlessly easy transition and process for you. So we are really excited. We encourage most of our first-year students to live on campus and really experience that connecting to other first-year students and learning about your home away from home.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Yep.
And actually, next, we're going to go back to Chrissy, and she's going to just point out some of our social media handles that we want you all to be both paying attention to and start to get a sense of what would typically be happening on campus and the community that we build there.
Yeah, so absolutely. Thanks, Mike. So now more than ever, you probably have heard us, say we want to stay connected to you and we want to get to know you guys. So we encourage you to follow all of our social media handles, so whichever one you prefer. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have Snapchat, we have Facebook, we have YouTube. So we do have a lot. So we're encouraging you all to follow us, get connected with us. And this is a really great and really fun way for us to see who's going to be joining us this fall. So we are going to encourage you guys to use the #UHeartBound hashtag, so we can see all of the great smiling faces that are going to be joining us this coming fall that make up our first year class. So this is a really, really easy way for us. Technology is awesome right now where we're able to connect with students from afar. And so given the circumstances we're in, we're really excited to have that opportunity. So Julie, do you mind hopping on and telling us some exciting things that we've already been doing on social media?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Chrissy. So as Chrissy mentioned, yes, we are trying to be sure that now more than ever, we're staying super connected to our current students as well as all of you who are thinking about joining us for the fall. So myself and a few people from our marketing and communication department, as well as our entire division of student success, have been working together on something right now that we're calling #TipTuesday. What we're doing is every Tuesday, we're sending out some sort of social highlight to either help you all get to know a little bit more about us or to give you tips in terms of self-care, how to get through this crazy quarantine time, transitioning for our current students to remote and online learning. So it's a variety of different things. If you look at all of our different platforms, you can see the things that went out the past couple of weeks. One of them that was actually this week was kind of funny. It was all of us showing you our at-home offices. So those you should actually hop on and take a peek at because some of us are doing the best we can to make the best of an environment we have. But you'll also get to see a lot of our pets and children and kind of what's going on as we're trying to make sure that we all stay active and connected with you all. One of the ones that is coming down the pike in the next couple of weeks are a UHeart flash mob. So that'll be on all of our different social platforms next week. And then we're going to move on to a couple of different things in terms of tagging and doing a shout out to seniors. We know for all of you that are seniors this year in high school, as well as are in the country's seniors in college. So this is such a difficult time for each and every one of you. So what we're doing is we're dedicating a week to just shout out those seniors and let them be loud and excited about everything that they have for their future. And then as we move forward, we'll continue to do a little bit more throughout the month of May to make sure that we're also onboarding everyone and keeping everybody connected and excited as well. And then again, the entire division is doing a ton of different things. Just a couple of things. I know they're doing Motivational Mondays, so you will see some neat things that are sent out from especially our current students on that. And I do believe if anybody from admission wants to jump in case I'm missing something, I do know that there's a couple of other initiatives that are out there, and I don't want to leave anything out. But again, this was just to name a few of the things that we're doing to keep everybody connected. So I think at this point, there might be, is there one more slide, Mike, or are we ready to do a Q&A at this point?
We are ready to do a Q&A. And so one of the first questions was that I'll start off with when I was talking about our division is something that was unfortunately left off the list was our Accessibility Services Office. And so that's an office that works with students who have learning accommodations through high school. And so we have that office, and throughout the summer, we'll be bringing opportunities to be able to talk with that office and get your questions answered. But they work primarily with our students who have had IEPs and 504s throughout high school and potentially before that. And then they evaluate each individual student and determine what accommodations are going to be provided by the university and provide suggestions on ways to interact with your faculty members. There's also an overlap with accessibility in our office in that they also offer individual coaching through some of their coaches in their office for first-year students to help them manage that transition. So what's really, really nice about it is, especially for students who are going to need really in-depth attention, they have their first-year advisor through our office, but they also have the opportunity for coaching through the accessibility office. So I also want to, I'm going to pass it over to Shane because there was a question that came through for Shane as well.
All right, I'm going to bring my video live here so that you can see me as I'm answering these questions. So I think I have several here to answer. So let me try and walk them through kind of through order of events, you know, as it applies to all of you. So the first question is the commitment date still May 1st? And so you may have received an email with some information about this, but the University of Hartford is encouraging students to still deposit by May 1st. We are really trying to keep some things as, for lack of better terms, as normal as possible for you without moving too much around. That being said, we get that these are unprecedented times, and we absolutely understand and recognize that the inability to visit campus, the inability to come and meet one-on-one with a financial aid counselor, and those types of interactions that you normally would have are not available to you in their conventional ways right now, and that could certainly impact your ability to make a decision, certainly as quickly as May 1st. So while we are encouraging students to deposit by May 1st, we are being flexible with that. So if you do need an extension, if you do need more time, please just email us at admission@hartford.edu. Let us know that you need more time. We will certainly give that to you. If you do deposit by May 1st, you can know and have comfort in the fact that we will honor refunds after May 1st if circumstances should change and you decide that it won't be possible for you to attend the University of Hartford. Certainly, we want to do everything we can to assist you in allowing you to enroll and to pursue your education at UHart. But if circumstances should get us to a point where that's just not possible, we will refund that deposit in full to you even after May 1st. So the commitment date is still May 1st. We're encouraging that. And the reason is there are lots of things, as you heard today, that are triggered as a result of depositing by May 1. The ability to get connected with orientation, begin the registration process for classes, begin the housing process, the roommate assignment process, and all of that. So all of those things that really engage you as being a UHart student begin to take place after you deposit, and we want you to be able to experience that, and we want you to jump in with those exciting things as quickly as possible. So if May 1 is possible for you, go ahead through your applicant portal. You can complete that enrollment deposit. I will say we are encouraging students to do it through their applicant portal online. If you're trying to do it through mail and the deposit slip that had been sent in your acceptance packet, it's going to be a little bit harder for us to process those as quickly simply because we're not on campus. We're only collecting mail there about once a week for processing. So do, in fact, try and make that deposit through your applicant portal. If you're having any issues with that at all, again, admission@hartford.edu, and you can get assistance from our staff. The other thing I should mention about getting assistance from admission during the deposit process or at any point if you need to speak to someone in financial aid is a week or so ago, and you may have seen emails about this, we launched an Ask Us feature on our admission website. So if you go to our admission pages and financial aid pages, you should see a little yellow tab on the right-hand side, and it says Ask Us, and that's a live chat feature. So you can get connected with a financial aid counselor, a admission counselor, right on our website, live chat, and they can either talk to you through that or schedule a time to call you and talk to you on the phone. So really a way to be able to get connected with us directly to make sure you're getting all the information you need. From there, from the time of completing a deposit, one of the things that happens is within 1 to 2 business days, your UHeart email will be generated and you'll be notified about that. You'll receive an email with information about your new University of Hartford email account and your university ID number. Again, that can take 1 to 2 business days. So that will happen after you deposit. So that was a question that came in about UHeart email. And another question is about the housing application. We have, as many of you know and have alluded to in the many questions I've seen here, been experiencing some technical issues with the housing application as we're working in this remote environment. We are still sorting those out, to be honest with you. We are hoping to have a resolution this week to those, so hang tight with us. The delay in completing the housing application will not prevent you from getting placed in on-campus housing. We have on-campus housing for you. We will honor those applications. We still have time for the hawk call deadline, and we will notify you as soon as that is up and running. We're actually piloting or testing with some students now to see if it is working. Again, if you're trying to complete the housing app and you're running into issues, send that information to admission@hartford.edu. It'll help us troubleshoot where, in fact, students are encountering the problems as we work with our third-party vendor to get that resolved. So that's on the housing piece. I saw a question pop in there about major changes. If you're looking to change a major at this point, before completing the deposit or after, email us at admission@hartford.edu. We can work through that with you and make sure we get your major updated, let you know if we need any information on that. So I think that those are, there was one other question about staying on campus. Do I have to stay on campus for the first year? And so that is a question related to our University of Hartford residency requirement, which had typically stated that students that live outside of a 30-mile radius of our campus are required to live on campus for the first 2 years. One of the things you'll be seeing coming out in the next week probably is information that the university, in light of these circumstances, will be relaxing that residency requirement for next year and for incoming students. So that is being expanded out to a 60-mile radius. And so therefore, if you really are looking to enroll at the University of Hartford but are not certain about living on campus at this time, we do not want the residency requirement to be a deterrent to you enrolling. So just let us know, and we are being extremely flexible and also expanding that radius. So students will have the option to commute if that is their preference in enrolling. So keep that in mind as well. So Michael, I wasn't looking here, but I imagine there are others ready to answer some questions. I'm sure I'll queue up another handful for myself here shortly, but if there's other ones that are ready to grab some questions, they can go right ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. So a quick question that I'll touch on for commuter services. Question was if commuter services are available for first-year students, or do you have to live on campus for that first year? So Shane just talked a little bit about that, but definitely commuter services are available to all our students. And we have an individual in our Office of Engagement and Inclusion who works primarily with those students. Let's go to Chrissy. There's a couple of questions in there. I'm happy to add some of the information for hawk call and roommate deadlines. Anything I know there's a lot of questions pouring in about that. Anything that you want to touch on real quickly?
There's just a few questions that are going out there of when you're going to hear back from your assigned resident halls. Usually it's mid to late June, July. And so it's late summer where you'll hear actually your selection. So it doesn't happen right away, but you will hear sometime over the summer.
Yeah, and
oops, sorry.
Go ahead. There's for hawk call, I know there's a question about the learning communities, wellness, community service, global engagement, STEM, and creative arts and expression are usually the floors. And so the kind of the timeline works with when the applications are available. So if you apply to Hawk Hall, I know there's always questions about roommate selection and when you get your roommates. So application for Hawk Hall comes out. Once students find out if they are accepted into Hawk Hall or not, then they get to make the decision of whether they want to live in Hawk Hall or whether they want to live in a different building with a student who, if they're considering a roommate and that student doesn't get selected into Hawk Hall, they have some time to be able to make those decisions. So Hawk Hall comes, first in terms of decision making, and then the roommate selection process ends after that. So that there's time to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, there was also some questions about AC and heating in the dorms. So yes, we do have AC and we do have heating in all the first year complexes and in Hawk Hall, so that is a good perk. And no, you don't have to pay for laundry. That's actually a free service to all UHeart students. So you can learn how to do laundry and not have to pay for it. Obviously, you have to pay for your laundry soap and everything, dryer sheets like that, but you don't have to pay for the actual service.
Mike, if you want, I'm ready to jump in to answer.
Yeah, go for it, Julie.
Okay,
yeah,
excellent.
Please.
Hi again, everyone. So a couple of different questions that were listed out. One was, when will the pre-registration survey actually be sent out? So that will be rolled out at a couple of different timeframes. There will be a batch that will go out around April 15th or so, or maybe a little bit after that. And that will be for anyone who has deposited to that date. We'll get that out there. We'll get a bunch of information from folks, see what we can get started on. Post that, then we will do a second delivery of the survey around May 1st to catch everybody else who has deposited at that point. And then, of course, we'll decide if we need to do one more sending out of that survey to make sure we've caught everyone. Because, again, we talked about how important all that information is. So just watch your email for that to come to you. Another question was a great question, and it was about whether or not a transfer student would receive that pre-registration survey. So transfer students, we are very excited for you to join us as well. And as you saw in the beginning of the presentation, I am happy to be your Center for Student Success transfer contact. However, registration is a little bit different for incoming transfer students. So you will not be directly assigned to the Center for Student Success for an advisor. You will actually have an advisor in your school or college, but you'll begin that journey with the college evaluator. So the college evaluator will take all of your information, all of your credits completed, all of that. They will work with the admission office and they will determine what an evaluation will look like. So they will lay out the curriculum and how it's going to come into each of the programs at the University of Hartford. Once they have done that, then the evaluator will make sure that you've been connected to your advisor in the school and college. It varies for the College of Engineering, Technology, and Architecture. You would work with a department chair right off the bat, but it does vary from school to school. But then that individual will work with you and they will make sure that you get yourself all registered and you're set for fall. One thing I do want to point out is if you're having any issue whatsoever getting connected to your college evaluator, that's where I would come in. So you can certainly reach out to me at the Center for Student Success. Again, Julie Spring. My email is simply jspring@hartford.edu, and I would be happy to work with you to get you connected. And then one last question, I'm actually going to, if everyone is okay with it, real quickly send it over to Michael Gomans. Michael, there was a question about a student coming in as physical therapy, the 3+3. They want to be sure that their advisor for fall would be aware of that and that that would be addressed properly.
Hi, Julie. Thanks. So great question. The nice thing about our 3+3 program for physical therapy, for those of you who are not familiar, we offer 2 tracks. The traditional 4-year undergraduate track, and then we also offer a 3-year undergraduate track that requires summer terms. The good news is you actually don't have to make that decision now. In fact, you don't have to make that decision your entire first year. So odds are you would be working with me or one of my colleagues, Holly, and we would both talk to you about your interests, but the curriculum for the first year, whether you're on the 4-year track or the 3-year track, is exactly the same. So a lot of times we have students who are coming in who would like the 3-year plan and actually spend their first year on campus and really fall in love with the class that they're in, living on campus, the cohort, And honestly, they're just looking forward to a summer break, spend some time at home, get back to working, make some money so you have some funds for sophomore year. So a lot of our students actually come in with the interest for doing 3+3, but end up staying for the 4-year undergrad. Even if that's not you and you decide ultimately you want to go with the 3-year plan, you really don't have to make that decision until about now, April or so, during registration, during your first year on campus. And if that's the case, myself or my colleague Holly would work with you and draft together an appropriate summer class list of courses for you to take either at Hartford or an appropriate institution close to home. And that way we make sure you're set up to start your sophomore year on track with either of those plans.
Thanks, Michael. I want to address a couple of other quick questions. There was a question about accommodations and who to contact. Patricia O'Donovan in our accessibility services office is the best person. I'm going to spell out her email address, but if you don't catch it all, then feel free to email admission@hartford.edu, and they can certainly get you that information. Her last name is O'Donovan @hartford.edu, and that would be the best person to start with for that. There was also a question about our dance students, and do they have a separate advisor for academics as well as one for dance? Kind of is the answer to that question. They have our first year advisor through the Center for Student Success, Meg Abernathy, who is kind of a comprehensive advisor, both for Hart classes and actually the general requirements. Who is very well versed in the Hart School, worked in Hart admission for quite a while, and knows just about everything there is to know about the Hart School. So she is the primary advisor, but also those students work very, very closely with their faculty members, and those faculty are constantly in communication with their students about specific academic classes, and Meg works very, very closely with those individuals. So really, both are covered, and it's really a collaboration between the two of them. Shane, I understand there was a question about AP. Do you want to touch real quick on AP credits?
Yeah, and I know, thanks, Mike. I know Julie touched on it a bit already, but just to reiterate, we understand the new testing approach as a result of the circumstances for AP exams. We are accepting AP credit through the current testing policies with the College Board, and so please do be aware of that. And actually, when you register for orientation currently, which happens after you deposit, you'll actually be asked to sign up for orientation. There are questions in the orientation registration that specifically ask if you're going to be bringing in AP credit, early college credit, anything related to transfer credit, or so on. So just make sure you indicate that. That's a great indicator to your advisors and coaches as far as when they're registering you, what to be looking out for, to know if they should be waiting for transcripts or test reports coming in. That certainly matters in their advising abilities. So we are accepting those credits. We encourage you to send us that information as you have it available, and do let us know in the orientation process that you are anticipating bringing credit in so that you can be advised accordingly. If you're not sure that you're going to be bringing credits in, or you haven't taken an exam yet, that's okay. Again, we want to just know even if there's a possibility, we want to know that you are considering taking early college credit. Maybe you're looking at taking potential summer courses at a local community college even. Any of that we want to know about, even if it's on your mind, because we might be able to help make those decisions with you as to whether it would be valuable for you to do so with respect to your particular curriculum, and also guide you into which courses might be valuable and how they would actually transfer into the university. So do make sure you're connecting with the Center for Student Success and or the admission office. Any one of us can assist in getting you to the right person to help answer those questions. Other thing, there were just some follow-up questions around the housing application. And I apologize I didn't clarify this earlier. If you have completed a housing application successfully, if you submitted a Hall Call essay, You do not need to be concerned about that information being lost. That's not what's happening here. This is more of an access issue to the existing application as it currently stands. So if you were able to successfully get through the application and submit, great. And we have that information, and Residential Life will be following up with you accordingly. The other question is, knowing that we are having issues with the housing application, should we even bother trying? And I would say yes. We have students that are able to access the housing application and able to complete it. If you have submitted the enrollment deposit, the $500 enrollment deposit through the applicant portal, you do not have to pay the $150 housing fee again. So even if you're getting prompted at the housing application stage to do that, please do not pay it again. That means there is still an issue for you with accessing the housing application. That's where you want to email us at admission@hartford.edu. Let us know you're having a problem. You should not be being charged an additional $150. If that happened to you, we will be refunding that additional charge to you. The enrollment deposit for a residential student is $500, and that includes the room reservation housing deposit in there. But you can try to complete the housing application. Some of you might be successful in doing so. If you do hit a roadblock, just email us at admission@hartford.edu so we can send those on to our tech team so that they can continue to troubleshoot what is happening. And so I think that, oh, and there was a question also, Mike, about accepting financial aid awards, and if we have the ability to be doing that online, or if they should continue to send those back by in the mail through the paper format. And at this point, we still do need you to send those back via post mail. Just mail those back to us. But I will tell you this: if you complete the enrollment deposit, that too also secures your financial aid for next year. So the act of completing your enrollment deposit will also secure your financial aid and not put it in jeopardy. So if you complete that enrollment deposit online and then subsequently send back that financial aid acceptance letter, that would be perfectly appropriate and still protect the aid offer that had been made to you. And I think that's all I have for right now. I'll keep looking to see if there are others.
I'm sure there will be.
Of course. These are great questions.
Absolutely. There was a question about the honors program. I think, what does it do for your college credits? And see, how can it help you in the long term? So the honors program really, I think it can depend on your approach to learning. Some students are really hyper-focused on their major or are really hyper-focused on getting a career after college. The honors program is really designed for students who have that love of learning, no matter what the subject happens to be. And so if they want to explore, depth, they're really engaged when they have small groups of students who also are really engaged in the topic matter that's being discussed. That's really where our honor students shine. There's also some added components. There's a research project associated with the honors program. And so if students are really interested in doing research and working very closely with their faculty members, and are considering graduate school, I think that's really one of the areas where students can really take off is the honors program. They really like to focus on small group discussion, and it's really students who are also really into the general education classes and want the very most out of those classes. So like I said, I think it comes back to the approach that a student takes to all of their classes, and someone who is genuinely interested in continuing with academic research. I know there's a question about orientation. Can we throw that over to Chrissy?
Hi, yeah, absolutely, Mike. So at this point, we are actively discussing plans for orientation, and we are monitoring the situation. So we're going to encourage you to still register for orientation when you tuition deposit to choose a session 1 through 5. And as more details become figured out, We'll obviously be communicating that out to families and keeping you informed so you can make travel arrangements and plans. But at this point, still register for orientation just like you would when you are tuition depositing, and just stay tuned for more details because we will have more details to come. There also is a question that I'm just going to hop on and answer about joining clubs and organizations. So in the fall, we will have a club fair and an organization fair, and this is a great opportunity for you to connect with all over the 100 clubs and organizations that we have on campus. So this will be a really great way for you to see what you want to become and get involved in and become a part of, and that will happen in the fall. It usually is on in a parking lot. We fill the parking lot with a bunch of clubs, activities, and organizations, and it's just a really great way to connect. So stay tuned for that, but we have over 100 clubs and organizations to get involved in.
Cool. Thanks, Chrissy. Let's see. Michael, Julie, any questions that have come through for you?
Hi, Julie here. There's a couple to follow up the honors program that I'm sending off answers to as well. One of them was, how do you get into the honors program? So the quick answer for that is that if you are admitted to the honors program based on your admission to the University of Hartford, then that would have been indicated in your acceptance information. If for some reason that's unclear, then you can reach out to either admissions or the center and we can help you understand that as well. And then if for some reason you were not eligible right away when you were joining us at the university, then if you earn a 3.0 or better your first semester with us in the fall, then you would become eligible for the honors program at that point. And those of us who are working with you in the center would work with you to adjust your schedule for the spring semester to make sure you hit the ground running and you're ready to go.
Thanks, Julie. I'll kick it over to Shane. Shane, I think there was a, no, I'm not sure if there was a question, another question or not.
No, the only, let's see, the only other question I saw here was just a question about if transfer credits and AP coming in impact their GPA at the university at all. So that's a quick and easy one to answer. The answer is no, we don't. We do not transfer in grades or scores per se. So they do not get calculated into your UHeart GPA. So that's just something important to know. And then there was also a question about GPA requirements for scholarships. So depending on the type of scholarship you receive at the time of admission, it can have a different academic criteria for renewal. That criteria should be spelled out on your award letter. But all students, in order to maintain any type of financial aid, both scholarship grant, federal financial aid, and so on, must maintain what's called satisfactory academic progress, which is the minimum academic standards required for aid eligibility and to remain in good standing academically with the university. And so your advisors will review those with you. They are very reasonable standards for that purpose, but our scholarships, particularly our honors level scholarships, do have a 3.0 cumulative GPA requirement, and some of the upper level ones also needed, might require a 3.25 cumulative, so full tuition scholarships, things along those that nature. So just check with your advisors. Also look on your financial aid award letters as those renewal criteria would be there and available to you. I think, let me just make sure. Again, there was a question about the deposit amount. So again, the deposit structure is for a first-year full-time resident student, a student that's looking to live on campus and enroll full-time. It's a $500 deposit. And if you are looking to be a commuter student, it would be a $350 deposit. And then there is different structure for transfer students. So transfer students would be $300 if they are a residential student on campus as well. So again, that's all outlined on the enrollment deposit page. So when you access your applicant portal, the breakdown of all of those charges are there with the amounts. So do be aware of that. And so with that, I know we're getting past 11 here. We have a little bit more time to answer a few more questions. Mike, Julie, Chrissy, and Mike, I don't know if you guys have any others there that you want to pick up and grab. I'm gonna sit back here and let you guys jump in.
Hey, Shane. Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to add, there was a quick question about internships and how those work on campus. Through our Career Center is probably the primary touch point. So a student can simply walk in and ask questions about internships and how to get connected with employers. We have an online database of employers who are looking to hire students for internships. And they, like I said, they're constantly working with employers and maintaining those relationships. So that's something they can certainly ask about, as well as internship coordinators within their academic departments. So a number of different ways to make that connection. And then what we are often suggesting students, and we stay well informed of what the career activities are on campus. We recommend that students attend the just overwhelming number of events that our career office hosts when they have employers coming to campus. We have resume boot camps. We have certainly employment fairs that offer both jobs and internships. So it's really informing students, making sure that they go to those events, but also are talking with someone in the Career Center to let them know and help them figure out where they might find their best fit. And I think we also have see. Anybody else that has questions out there?
Hey, Mike, I have one to pop on for Hawk Hall.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Perfect. So 2 questions that came up. One of our learning communities, I'm not sure if we mentioned it, there is a floor designed just for honors students. So if you are thinking about living with other honor students and around, again, students who really have that passion to excel in their achievements like honor students, you can also, apply to live in Hawk Hall and also live on the honors wing. As well as there's a question about can students who are in Hillier College live in Hawk Hall? Yes, you are one of our 7 schools and colleges. So you're fully integrated into campus life and all of our resident halls. So you do have the option to apply to live in Hawk Hall as well. So just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that they had that option to apply. So that's all.
Cool. Thanks, Chrissy. Shane, anything else before we wrap up?
Nope. I wanted to just thank Chrissy, Julie, Mike. If you guys if you're still in front of your cameras, if you want to bring yourselves live their view and just give a wave goodbye to everybody so they can see all your wonderful faces. And look at those smiles. So that's exactly what you're waiting to welcome you to the University of Hartford this fall. That's exactly what we want you to see and feel when you arrive to campus. And I can't say it any differently than we sure as heck can't wait to get back to campus ourselves and to have all of our students back and with us. And we certainly hope each and every one of you that are still listening and on with us are part of this entering class. So just a few quick housekeeping things for you. Again, if at any point in time you have questions that pop up that you need answered, just please do go to our website, use the Ask Us feature, that live chat feature. It's available Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. We could even get you connected with our colleagues from the Center for Student Success. So if you want to talk to them directly, I know that they would not hesitate to reach out to you personally, either by phone or email. Do know that when we're making calls from our homes, they are often coming up as unrestricted or private numbers because we're calling from our home. So I know it's usually unconventional for us to answer those calls, but we will certainly try and let you know when we're calling in advance so that you can expect that. But we want to talk to you. We want to be there to answer questions. So use that Ask Us feature, email us, and of course, we're happy to connect with you in any way that we can. And then the last thing I want to say is we have some exciting things coming up over the next 2 weeks. You should have received an email about it, and we'll continue to get more information about it. But kicking off next week, we have a whole series of panels and events that are going to essentially replicate some of the information that we would have shared and delivered to you during our accepted student days. So you are encouraged to register for one, if not all of those events. They begin on Monday the 13th through Thursday the 16th, and then again the following week. So next week, we'll be covering topics like first year in academic resources. We will have a live current student panel where you will be able to ask questions of our current students. We'll have a whole presentation on student life. What's it like to live there? What's it like to be a student on campus? An entire event on career and professional development with our professional partnerships and our career studio. And then the following week will be a whole week of events specifically related to your academic areas of interest. So you'll have presentations from your respective schools and colleges that you'll be able to join in and hear from the deans, the associate deans, the faculty, current student in those events. So there's a whole array of events coming at you in the next couple of weeks. Continue to engage with us, get your questions answered, and unless the crew on the screen with those shining faces has anything else they want to add, I think we're about ready to sign off and just give a wave goodbye. Good luck to all of you as we continue to navigate these uncharted waters. We're here for you. Know that. We're thinking of you, and we surely hope to see you on campus soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you all.